divided economics and the development of the American system.
During the 19th century, new approaches to manufacturing took industry out of American households and instead put it into large semi-mechanized factories. This included Eli Whitney's interchangeable parts for muskets. Factory systems which used power-driven machines and laborers made mass production possible, the production of goods in large quantities. Craftsmen used to create one object from start to finish, but this process was eliminated due to mass production. Factory manufacturing became the cheapest and most profitable way to produce goods. Changes in manufacturing brought on the Industrial Revolution, which first began in Great Britain. British merchants built the first factories. The primary source of income in America after the War of Independence was international trade, not manufacturing. However, there were two events that turned the attention of Americans toward the development of domestic industries. They were the passage of President Thomas Jefferson's Embargo Act of 1807 and the War of 1812. Samuel Slater was a British immigrant. He had brought blueprint plans to Rhode Island based on a textile mill. He later establishes a factory on his own in the U.S., and mass production increased with a new crop, thread. In 1813, Francis Cabot Lowell and others revolutionized the textile industry by building a weaving factory that mechanized all stages of production using power machinery. A larger mill was built in newly renamed town of Lowell that had become a booming manufacturing center in New England.
The type of the land and the growth of the cities in the north encouraged farmers to cultivate smaller farms than southerners did. Industry flourished, fueled by more abundant natural resources than in the south, and many large cities were established. Slavery had died, replaced by cities and factories. Transportation was easier in the north, which boasted more than two-thirds of the railroad tracks in the country, and the economy was on an upswing. Not only were northern part of America, but also the south. Agriculture thrived in the south. Planters focused on cash crops like tobacco and cotton. Eli Whitney's invention of a cotton gin in 1793 had helped to set the South on a different course of development from the North. The South became the cotton-producing part of the country. Cotton gin was a very simple invention. First, the cotton balls were put into the top of the machine. Next, we turn the handle, which turns the cotton through the wild teeth that comes out the seeds. Then, the cotton is pulled out of the wild teeth and out of the cotton gin. Now that cotton is easier to clean and since it grows easily, cotton became the number one cash crop in the South. The farmers took the land from the Native Americans to grow cotton. Wealthier planters bought up huge areas of land and then put an enormous slave labor force to work cultivating it. By 1860, cotton was a cash crop. Cotton production in the South, as well as the dependency on slaves, had increased. As a result of this, the number of slaves went up. Capital had been invested in slaves, not in transportation or factories. All this happened because of a very simple machine, the cotton gin.
In the American system, there are three major points given. The first point focuses on transportation systems and other internal improvements. Two well-known conveyances include the National Road and the Erie Canal. The National Road was constructed in 1811, and the road extended from Cumberland, Maryland to Vandalia, Illinois. The Erie Canal stretched 363 miles, and it connects the Hudson River to Lake Erie. With the Erie Canal, raw materials and other finished goods are allowed to travel from the Atlantic Ocean to the nation's interior quickly and at a low cost. Not only were these plans developed, but also other roads and canals were built through state funds. Another significant point was establishing a protective tariff. With tariffs, the cost of foreign goods increases, and placing a tariff also pays internal improvements such as roads, canals, and lighthouses. Therefore, President James Madison decided to propose the Tariff of 1816 because it led advantages to the economy. The final major point, resurrecting the National Bank, was an important event that caused future changes. The National Bank would make a currency that allowed people in different areas to do business with one another. In this case, Congress chartered the bank for a 20-year period. Overall, the Americans entered an era of good feelings.
The North and the South created different economic systems which led to differences between two regions. Henry Clay, he began to promote American system that would unite the nation's economic interests.